Top five, top five, top five.
All right, welcome to the countdown, ladies and gentlemen. We are here to rank the top 5 receivers in the NFL today. You know what you came to see. You came to see some great sports rankings, and we got a great one for you today.
Y'all know what it is, man. Exciting position, top 5 wide receivers, some of the best athletes in the NFL, some of the most notarized players in the NFL, ready to shake people up, ready to make cornerbacks and safeties look crazy. These are some 5 big-time players that everybody should know.
And we got some controversy right out of the gate, so let's get right into it.
Before we get into it, make sure you smash that like button and hit that subscribe, because y'all know what time it is. We coming back every single week with some fire-ass content.
So, starting us off with number 5, we got a guy who wasn't even close to the top 5 last year, Brandon, but he was number 1 not too long ago, and Cooper Kupp had one of the greatest wide receiver seasons we've ever seen, if not the greatest. And then last year, obviously, he gets hurt middle of the year in the middle of another great campaign. So going into 2023, which is what this is all about, we think Cooper Kupp could regain that top wide receiver 1 profile and once again set the league on notice and have those kind of record-breaking seasons for the Rams with Stafford back healthy as well.
True tactician, one of some of the crispest routes you're going to see in the NFL, really gets in and out of his breaks better than anybody you can see. He might not have top-end speed, but he does a great job of wiggling past defenders, has enough agility to make people miss, has a stiff arm, really has almost every move after he catches the ball. He might not make a lot of long touchdowns after like a short catch, but I mean, he finds ways to get extra yards due to his strength, his moxie, and really just his agility overall.
And moving into number 4, we got Jamar Chase for the Cincinnati Bengals, entering his 3rd year, could be primed for a breakout season, B.
Jamar is a problem, and a lot of things that people don't understand about Jamar, he might be the most talented, he might be potentially the best receiver in the NFL, and unfortunately, he has a very stacked offense that also features T. Higgins and also features Tyler Boyd. Tyler Boyd's a great zone receiver, and T. Higgins kind of just does it all, just like Jamar Chase does. But Jamar Chase, like you saw 2 years ago, like you saw last year, has big play ability from anywhere in the field, can catch a slant, might spin, take it to the crib, can run through your chest. And the thing about Jamar Chase, it looks so effortless. Like, it looks like he's jogging, doesn't even look like he's trying. Right. Yet you see him just breaking people off, making easy catches, also going one-handed, going over people's necks. I mean, he literally does it all. It would be great to see Jamar Chase in a situation potentially like Jetta's, where he's the clear number 1 and doesn't really have anybody else competing for any targets or touches. But until Jamar Chase gets in a situation where he will be able to rack up yards and yards and yards and touchdowns and touchdowns and touchdowns, it'll be hard to rank him above 3 or 4 or anywhere in that area.
Yeah, he's got a lot of competition on his own team, which I think doesn't help him necessarily, but Jamar Chase has as much potential as anyone on this list, like you said, and he makes it look easier than anyone on this list, making those crisp routes, making those tough catches, making those yards after the catch to get those crucial first downs. He does it effortlessly and does it week in, week out, and makes those plays for his team to help him. And like we said a couple episodes ago, I don't think it's any coincidence that as soon as Jamar Chase got into the league, the Cincinnati Bengals quickly became one of the best teams and a title contender in their own right as well.
Just a straight dog.
Absolutely. But getting into number 3, we have Tyreek Hill, the biggest deep threat in the NFL, the most dangerous weapon in the league, I would say. And I think when it comes to Tyreek Hill, it's about what you don't want to see as a defensive coordinator. Like, Tyreek Hill obviously does so many things with his speed and with his elusiveness and his catching, and he's more than just a one-trick pony, or, you know, he would just be John Ross or something like that. But what I think the biggest impact that Tyreek has is on the defensive game plan. When you have defensive coordinators making all these adjustments, making all these game plans, and figuring out all these X's and O's of how they're going to attack this Miami Dolphins offense, when number 10's out there, it's going to look completely different than if he wasn't. And you have to have so many different help safeties and so many different coverages aligned toward that side of the field that it opens up things for Jalen Waddle, for the running game, for Tua to go making plays for himself. And so just having Tyreek Hill on the field alone, if he doesn't even catch the ball, is having a large impact. And then obviously when he catches the ball, he has as much impact as anyone.
I mean, he's just deviance schematics. Like you said, Rob, you made some really great points. Like, there might be teams that like to press the corner in the boundary, and as soon as you see number 10 over there, it's like, damn, we got to play off some, or we're going to get beat. There's some teams that like to rotate their free safety towards the field, and they might not be able to do that because Tyreek Hill's in the boundary. So, I mean, there's so many different things that Tyreek Hill can do that can just disrupt the defense from top to bottom. I mean, you put him in motion and have him running in front of the quarterback. Everybody's shifting, thinking, if this dude gets the ball, I mean, it could be down the sideline and hitting his head on the goalpost. So, I mean, Tyreek Hill does so many things well. He's ultimately uncoverable despite his size. Like, he just can't be pressed, and he can't put your hands on him. You can't touch him, and if you blink for a second, the dude is gone. And just like you saw, like in that massive playoff game against the Bills, I mean, you give him a sliver of hope, gone. Like, just a true game breaker from top to bottom. I wish we got to see a lot more of him in the return game, but obviously he's too valuable on the offensive side of the ball to do any of that type of stuff anymore.
Yeah, and as big as that play was in the divisional round against the Bills, I think the biggest play that he's made in his career was obviously in that Super Bowl, the Wasp play, which might be the biggest play any receiver made on this list, which just goes to say how great this list is. And so getting into number 2 on this list, we got probably the person who's been on this top 5 list for the longest. We got Davante Adams, now with the Las Vegas Raiders.
I mean, size and footwork. I mean, his ability to break off corners and run some of the best routes you're going to see and still accelerate through it and moss you, one-hand catch, do it all. I mean, it was crazy to see Davante Adams not in a Packers jersey, because usually when you see a generational talent and a player that's that good, you never see them change teams, especially before the quarterback leaves. So to see him go to the Raiders and still produce in a brand new system, obviously he had Derek Carr, who he had a lot of familiarity with, but it's going to be different for him now. Obviously he has Jimmy Garoppolo, but we still have enough confidence in Davante Adams' ability and his ability to get open and make massive plays. He still comes in at number 2 on this list. He's that talented. He's that much of a problem, and it's just going to be exciting to see him continue to do this over and over and over again.
Yeah, Davante Adams reminds me a lot of DeAndre Hopkins a few years ago. Before Deshaun Watson came to Houston, DeAndre Hopkins had guys like fucking Tom Savage and TJ Yates and whoever the hell was out there, but you knew DeAndre Hopkins was going to post wide receiver 1 kind of numbers, and that's the same kind of expectations that we've grown to have for Davante Adams. It doesn't matter who's out there calling the plays, who's out there taking the snaps, who's out there making the passes. You know Davante Adams is going to get his, and that's what he did last year in Vegas with Derek Carr, and that's what he's going to do this year, whether it's Jimmy G or once he inevitably gets injured, his backup comes into play. You can still put in Davante Adams in your fantasy lineup, lock him into that wide receiver 1 role, and you know that guy's going to produce because, like you said, he's got it all. He's got the route running. He's got his ability to get open. He can make those contested catches, and he does the things you want your receiver to do to put the ball in the end zone and score points for your squad.
Problem, size, speed, route running ability, the whole 9 yards.
Got
True
it all.
problem.
Absolutely. Just like number 1 on the list, we're going Justin Jefferson, taking the league by storm, already entering that number 1 spot on this list. Now, if you switch situations, maybe Davante Adams could surpass Justin Jefferson if he had a more stable quarterback position. But with everything that we know going into the 2023 season right now, we got to put Jefferson in number 1. And there's a reason why a receiver is going number 1 in these fantasy drafts for a first time at least that I can remember seeing that. It's almost always a running back or sometimes even like a quarterback or tight end if there's such a large discrepancy. But with receiver, it's usually there's a lot of good guys that you can pick. But people are taking Justin Jefferson number 1 because they know this guy is going to produce. He's breaking records year in and year out to start his career, and it doesn't seem to be slowing down anytime soon. So hop on the El Jefe train. This thing is not going down anytime soon.
El Jefe Jettas, he's really taken Kirk Cousins' game to another level.
Right.
And he's had one of the hottest starts. Actually, he's had the hottest start of any wide receiver in NFL history. We're talking better than Randy Moss. We're talking better than Jerry Rice. We're talking better than all those guys. 2,000 yards. Had the best catch of the season last year, one-handed over a defender. There's nothing Jettas cannot do. I mean, he does it in the short game, he does it in the mid game, and he damn sure does it in the deep game. He can catch the ball for a slant, juke 3 defenders, and take it to the crib. He just makes constant big plays all over the field. There's not enough good things to say about Justin Jefferson besides that it's insane that he lasted to number 22 in that draft.
Yeah,
It
the
doesn't
Eagles
make
regret
any
that
sense.
one.
Yeah,
Shout out
definitely
Jalen
regret
Reagor.
it. And it's funny, though. You talk about Jettas and you talk about Jamar Chase. Both of these guys do it as effortlessly as you can. It's funny they came from the same school and they played together. There's something that was in the water between these two guys because they really look like they're jogging and taking their time and not doing the most to get open, yet they're just so effective and so efficient no matter what quarter, no matter what situation, no matter what play. These guys just find ways to produce, and Jettas is going to continue to be number one for the foreseeable future, especially since he's so young.
Right. He earned that 99 rating in Madden, and if there's one word to describe Justin Jefferson and really all the receivers on this list, it's playmaker.
Yeah.
We got playmakers on this list. So these are
true.
the top 5 playmakers, the top 5 receivers in the NFL going into 2023. We're excited to see who you think. This is just what we think, you know. Let's hear what you had to say. Leave your comments. Who are your top 5 receivers? Maybe you think Cooper Kupp should be higher. Maybe you don't even think he should be on the list. Maybe you want A.J. Brown in on the list. Let us know in the comments who are your top 5 receivers as well.
If you don't like our list, come at us. This is one of the most controversial lists that we're going to have. I mean, receiver is a tough position. All of these guys have marginal differences, yet we still ranked our top 5, so make sure you drop your top 5. And before you go, hit that like button, double tap that subscribe. We're coming back every week with some fire. Jettas.
See you next time.
Peace.